one in July or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, let's keep this moving. We've only got 40 minutes or so overall. Back table where Patrick is. Could somebody else give us a feedback, please? Patrick's table, somebody else? Lorraine, you want to give us some feedback?
Yeah.
Or Joanne?
Yeah, so what I was saying was, so sometimes people in my network wouldn't clearly know exactly what it is that I do to recommend it.
They don't or they do?
No, they wouldn't know how to clearly
Okay.
describe what it is that I do specifically.
You don't know how to make that introduction in a clear manner.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Someone on this table? Someone?
So the recall factor. So I've met Andrew today, and I should be able to recall what Andrew was teaching me outside the room. So I should be, and I'm probably I'm impressed, maybe not.
Should be.
I love it.
You could become one of my jokes soon. This table here? Somebody else? Maureen?
I was saying about maybe leaving it too vague and having a very loose sort of saying, pass on my name type of thing without being specific about what you want.
Okay. Here?
I think it's that we were talking about, it's not what you do, but the benefit of what you do. If they understand the true benefit. Even if they've experienced you, your offer might have shifted. So
Okay.
articulating the benefit.
Not being able to articulate the benefit, this table here? John, you're building up for it, are you?
People aren't exactly clear what value you provide.
Not clear on the value. Might be they don't actually know your contacts. They may still not have the trust. Those are all different parts. We talk about trust a lot of times. What does that really mean? I want to just think for a moment like on building power circles, if you might call it that. And really some of the thoughts around this is from the book or the speech on Acres of Diamonds. So many people have heard the story of Acres of Diamonds. Okay, we have a few people in here. And I'm just going to make it very short. There was a farmer. He heard about diamonds. And he heard that he could go and find all these diamonds, become really wealthy. He goes off around the world searching for these diamonds, sells his farm, goes out on this great adventure. He gets depressed, he gets lonely. He ends up in debt, he ends up with nothing, he dies in poverty. That's a sad part of the story. The interesting part was the man who bought his farm was walking across a stream one day and he seen this lovely stone in the stream, glistened at him. He took it home with curiosity, put it on his mantelpiece. And someone came into the house one day and says, "Do you realize what you have?" And it turned out it was an uncut diamond. And it became one of the best diamond mines in that area. That's a brief overview. Go away and read the book. Or the,
need to know.
and find out if I'm telling you the truth. But if you read the book, it'll give you that idea. But the thought process behind that is that the Acres of Diamonds was already there. So the power of your network and the referrals is already likely within your network where you are. Sometimes we spend a lot of time going everywhere looking for more business. But the reality is that we already have that now. So I want you just to, as we think of, we can think of groups of people. We're just going to do that in a simple way. So go ahead and take Patrick's table at the back. I want you to think of financial Patrick. When I think of this table here as marketing type of table. When I think of this table here as finance, marketing, business services. And I want you to think of speaking world over here and with Jerry's world. And we'll come to property on this table. So what I want you to think of is how many professions could you fit into the property world, into the speaking world, into the finance world. I want you to do that together. I want you to come up with all the professions that would fit into that circle, if you want to call it. So we're just going to give you a couple of minutes to do that quickly. Sorry? Okay, so if you think of property, we'll do that. You might have a plumber, an electrician, an estate agent. In the speaking world, what's that going to look like? So what types of clients, what type of industries could you be working with to help get you more business? Yours is slightly more difficult, okay?
Yeah. But they're not necessarily, they're advertising.
Please write them down because I'm going to ask you for the numbers you have. How many? Yep. Please write them down because I want to know your numbers at the end. I want to see how many you get to.
But also the maintenance management companies on the board. There's at least 30 from the top, and then there's room to careers off each. We're counting them. He just wants a number. Good at lists. Just need a number. The minimum.
Mate, don't be making it up. I'm going to ask you for them all. Yeah, this is your learning.
I say anything, I just say that.
Okay, let's bring it back for a moment. We're only getting a bit of fun with this. We're going to come to this table because they thought they had 100 in their group, but anyhow, how many did you have, do you think, on the property side?
3 so far. 4, on the 4.
50 plus.
At least.
You think it could be 50 plus? Speaking world.
We definitely got 7 or 8 really good ones.
Could you tell me what they are?
Event organisers,
Okay,
meeting planners, AV companies,
okay. Anybody else?
the media,
Okay,
in media, which is huge, and then business groups.
okay. Excellent. I'm going to come back to that table then here. How many?
I have 12 written down.
You have 12 written down? Okay.
We had 17 that we got to.
17. Excellent. Who's going to beat 17?
We have 8 written down, but they're like we could subdivide a lot of them. If we could make it.
Okay. So just what I do, just simple thought. In the speaking table, you didn't have other speakers down, did you?
Yeah.
You had. Jerry, stand up a minute. Stand up.
You're in trouble now, Jerry. Have we fallen out?
Jerry, what do you speak about? What's one subject you speak about? High performance. Okay. Does anybody in this room speak about something else other than high performance? Okay, Alan, stand up. What do you speak about? No, stay standing, Jerry.
Communication.
Communication. Bill?
I speak about recovery.
Recovery. No, stay standing. You're not. Anybody else in this room speak about something else that's not been mentioned?
Well-being.
Okay. Anybody else?
Life and career design.
Okay. I did see somebody else there.
Yeah, legacy.
Legacy.
Organizational systems.
Okay, stay standing. Anybody else?
Transition facilitation with retirement.
Anybody else?
Change management.
Change management. Anybody else?
Sovereignty.
Okay. Anybody?
Sales preparation.
Okay.
Andrew Sweet.
Anybody else? So here's the reality. I want you to look around the room here. All the different speakers and different subjects, and you don't actually compete. Would that be a fair comment? A lot of things. So the reality is, you can sit down, thank you. The reality is when we think of power circles, sometimes we're running around all over the place, but the benefits are actually below your feet. It's the relationships we have maybe with your fellow speakers on the subjects that they are. So why are you not passing referrals to one another? And I understand that PSA is not a referral organisation, or should it be. But the reality is, if you have the trust with certain people, there's a chance of getting more business. If you think of getting levels of referral, if you want to call it that, how many people believe that if you give a name or a contact information, give out some literature and a business card, a company information, that's a referral?
That's a very good one. It's a lead.
It's a lead. Who believes that maybe the authorised use of my name, send out a letter of recommendation with testimonial, send a letter of introduction and a follow-up call, that's a referral?
Yeah. Getting good.
Warmer.
It's warmer. I don't believe it's a referral in my mind. It's whenever you move to the next bit, and this is where I believe is where you start to get a quality referral. For me, a referral is when an introduction is made where the other person is expecting your call. Anything else before that is a cold call you're having to make. It's where it's set up for you and you make the call. So that's where you've qualified the need and you arrange that permission to call. That's a very, very minimum for me, okay? You might be very happy to get all those other things and they're all great. They're all a benefit and they're all different shades of a referral, if you want to call it that. Those are different ways of getting it. But imagine you get to that level where people bring you closed deals. People say, look, I've already spoke for you, I've already given a testimony, I've already passed on your information, I've prepared it, this person wants to do the deal with you. It's basically a closed deal. Would that be worthwhile if we could get to that level? Yeah. So that's really what we're thinking about this morning. So why do people go networking? Give me a shout out. Are we networking this?
Tough crowd.
Go, get out of the house. Well, at least you're honest, Joanne. Huh? Making connections. What else? Looking for business. Build relationships.
Build your brand.
Build your brand. Community.
Finding out more about the business.
Learn.
Finding out more about the business.
Find out about other business. Yep.
Free cake.
Sorry?
Free cake.
Free cake. There's nothing free. Did you pay for your ticket to come here? Yeah. But there might be some networking events that are free. But if you just think about it, I want you to think this morning, as we start to think about referrals and really how can we build it? How can we be smarter? Because the reality is to go from prospecting, from prospecting someone and getting that business, how long do you think it takes in sales? How long does it take to go from a cold call to actually getting business maybe?
Depends what you're selling. Could be 3 months, could be 9 months, could be a year and a half, depending what it is.
Do you think if you had a personal introduction where the person knew your business well, that would happen, close quicker?
Yeah, much shorter. Yeah.
That's what we're talking about, rather than working harder, working a bit smarter. And we've really demonstrated that even with to do with speaking world. And that can be any type of business. So even when we start to think about, we're talking about power circles, and I want you just to think about that for a moment. And some of you might have heard this, so please don't tell all the rest of it. But if I was a wedding photographer, who would know my client before me? Who said that? Just killed my whole presentation. But if you think about it, all the other people around that, which we talked about events and all the different things, might be the bride outfits, groomsmen, all these different things, cars, events, hotels. But the reality is it's the jeweler. The jeweler's the very first person that would know the potential client. Why does the jeweler know first? It's an engagement rings. So the jeweler has a relationship with the wedding photographer. Do you think there's a better chance of them getting business? One wedding photographer told me that every engagement photographs that they do, 100% to get the weddings, if he's in at the start. So my question for you is, and I want you to write this down, who is the jeweler for your business? Who is the jeweler for your business? Now we're talking about diamonds this morning. Who's going to be giving you those referrals? Because whenever we think of the subject of going networking, imagine if we take it from just getting knowledge or building a brand, and all those things can be important. But one thing I would say to you is, if you're going to network and you're trying to sell at networking, don't go. Okay? I believe the best opportunity you have of going to a networking event is there to connect with people and to follow up later, and also to see if there's something mutually you can do or develop through time. But the reality is, very few people get married after the first date. You know, you don't normally sell. Sometimes people will buy, there's certain things that are there. But imagine if you just went to build your referral network. Imagine you went there to meet and greet people, to interview people, to follow up with people, and to see if you could do something together. Just the same way we talked about the speaking circle. Imagine if all those different industries, and you had enough trust with each other to refer each other. How powerful could that be? I'm going to ask Jerry a personal question now, because Jerry's the speaker at the end, and Brian's not going to be here to hear him, so get as much out of him. How much would an average job be for you, Jerry? An average job?
In terms of?
A piece of business. If you think of your 4 referrals even you talked about, what would the average be of that, if you don't mind sharing?
From a financial point of view?
Yes.
I'm not sure if I'm comfortable.
Okay, all right. But some people, it might be £1,000, it might be 5,000, it doesn't matter here. But if you think of yourselves, you know, what's your average value of a sale that you have? And then you start to think of, well, you know, if we have the right relationships with the right network, and how you can develop that, and what that's really powerful for, because sometimes we're looking and we're spending money elsewhere, whereas that benefit's right in the network that we have. If you think about, there's 8 different areas where your referrals can come from, okay? It could come from staff. Many people in here have got staff of one type or another, okay? Some of you have staff, okay? So that's, your referrals can come from your staff. How many of your staff have given you referrals? How many referrals have come from satisfied clients? Okay. A lot of times, referrals don't always come from your clients, believe it or not. Sometimes people don't do it for different reasons. It's not always the best form of referrals. Contact spheres is really what we're talking about in the power team circles or power circles, that idea of people who are dealing with your target market already. Whenever we really go to power circles, we're really talking about people who are working together to actively generate business for each other. That's really what we're talking about when we talk about that there. There's people whose benefits from yours. So if you get a piece of business, who benefits? What other business benefit because you get business? You know, it might be a very simple thing. You know, a lot of people in here, many people in here are more entrepreneur, one-man band, one-woman band type thing. Okay. And you might think, well, nobody really benefits from me, but it might be a local coffee shop. It might be who benefit because you're meeting clients there. It might be restaurants. It might also be the IT people, certain marketing things, software you do. Those are people who are benefiting from you. So just think like that. So what I would suggest to you is just write down a couple of names for each area. Because this could be the start of you building your network, your referral network. These are people who potentially have some buy-in to maybe help you. Then you also think of people who have given you referrals already. Sometimes we give referrals out. Why do you think I might have given a referral out for someone that haven't given it back, given another one?
Because they did a good job with the first referral.
Might have done a good job, yep. What else? Sorry? Didn't reciprocate, maybe, yeah. It might be as simple as they didn't actually thank you. How many times have you given something to someone and actually haven't thanked you, haven't gratitude? I was supporting somebody financially on a particular issue each month. Come Christmas, some people who you've done it for in the past maybe send you a wee letter, thank you. Some people don't bother. It doesn't give you that fuzzy feeling, does it? So sometimes when we bring gratitude into referral marketing and the thanks for people, that can actually really put your referrals on steroids or such. People you've given referrals to, those are people who might want to reciprocate. But also think of referral network members. Now this might be And when I say this would be close groups, people really working together, maybe back to your power circle type groups, that type of people. Who could that be for you or others you do business with? So even think of who knows my client we talked about earlier, people you're doing business with for different reasons. Some people I've spoken to, some of their best referrals came from their hairdressers, believe it or not. This was based on somebody talking about in London. The hairdresser actually became the best referral giver for them. So these are 8 areas, and I don't think there's much outside of this. So if you start and build your network in that way. But how do we get from that introduction we talked about earlier to actually closing a deal for somebody or helping them say, get to that point and say, I've got a referral for you. I've created an introduction for you. If you think about it. So the major thing, we always come back to in every single thing we do. If you were going to refer a fellow speaker, you need to trust them. But what does that look like? And again, it comes back to the level as well, who you're referring them to and different things. So I want you to think this morning on your tables very quickly, is what are the things that create trust or that cause distrust? There's 2 sides to that. I want you to think of that this morning. Very quickly, just do 2 minutes. I've only got 9 minutes left here with the time. 10:30. You want me off that? Okay.
What are you saying?
I'll make it enough. Okay. I could go on like this for.
What's the routine? Taking versus receiving. Transactional. It's a healthy balance of exchange.
Okay, just for the sake of time, I want to go very quickly. Lorraine's table down at the bottom. What's one thing that creates trust? Incongruency. Would you like to explain that for the less educated?
If you say you're doing one thing but you're doing the other, if you're not following through on how you show up publicly in terms of, and you can have massive incongruency between an internal narrative and how that's perceived externally. Those all massively undermine
Okay.
organisational and people level.
Thank you. Maureen's table. One thing you distrust, causes distrust.
I've got a blank now because I'm thinking through of what I've said because we covered a lot of that as well. Was there anything else what else did we say for distrust? Was not doing what you said. Go ahead, Alan.
Being selfish.
Being selfish. Okay. This table here, something you trust. What creates
It is transparency and boundaries.
transparency? Excellent. John?
What creates trust is if you're dealing with bureaus or workers is to be rock solid about what your rate is for a keynote or a workshop or a masterclass. What creates distrust is where you accept a booking and then a conference comes along at the last minute you drop out because you got another booking at a higher rate. That will just create friction between you and a bureau or booker. They won't do it to you
I would think so. Yeah, definitely. Here? Trust or distrust?
Healthy balance of exchange. So if it's merely transactional, or what's in it for me type of behaviour, that it's that balance of giving and receiving and not just taking.
So it's understanding and trust. There becomes a lot of parts around it. Can the person actually do the job? Are they likable as well? I think falls into all those things. So this is a massive step for anything. It doesn't matter whether you're in coaching, IT consultancy, accountancy, speaking world, trust a major step. Next bit, which is not as big as that business knowledge. Does the person know enough about your business, enough business knowledge to talk about it intelligently for 2 to 3 minutes. You can test that out with anybody. Do they know enough about you, about your business, what you do, to actually talk about for 2 to 3 minutes? Moving quickly. Can they identify needs? What are the needs that you solve? I'd like you to write down for yourselves, what are 2 or 3 needs that you solve for your clients at the moment? Write that down, please, quickly. What are 2 or 3 needs that you solve that your clients have? Because if your network trusts you, has enough business knowledge about you, and can actually identify the needs, that whenever they see the needs, then they can create the introduction, or they can start to create the introduction. Because once they can do that, and they're versed well enough in what you do, they can also provide the solution. They can actually start and talk about your business. Do they have that ability to talk enough about your business to get that out there? And to actually get to the point where they're creating that appointment. So, the appointment. What does an appointment look like? Sorry?
Could look like that, lots of different things.
But here's the thing. Does your network know what the initial appointment looks like? Can they talk to your potential new client and explain what's going to happen? So I'll give you an example. Got a call from one of my friends one day. He says, Andrew, I want you to ring Kieran. I said, why am I ringing Kieran, Colin? He says, very simply, I believe that Kieran needs what you've got. I said, Colin, what have you told him? He says, I've told him very simply that you will ring him within 24 hours to 48 hours. You will likely want to meet him for a cup of coffee to have that conversation to see whether or not the two of you actually fit together. And then with that, you can go from there. So I rang Kieran. I says, Kieran, I was asked to give you a call by Colin. He says, yes, I was expecting your call. So you're level 6 we were at. I says, fantastic. What did Colin tell you? He said, Colin told me you likely want to meet for a cup of coffee. I says, when suits. You see how the appointment was made? He knew the way it was going to be handled. And I went and had my meeting. It was up to me. So referral's not guaranteed business, but it gets you a lot quicker to your potential client and a cold call. So what does your appointment look like? So imagine you need to educate your referral partners, your power circles, whatever it is, on your business, on the needs, the solutions, and what that appointment looks like to make it easy for them. It's all about making it easy for them. So we're following the idea of the diamonds. How well is the referral prepared? The person who got me that referral, was it well prepared? Got me straight through, phone call, all the rest of it. How well does it fit your ideal client? You know, is it your ideal client, or is it one that's maybe off? Do you need to educate the person better? Is it the fact, you know, the need and the opportunity was all there? You're really clear on it? How valuable is it? Because here's the thing. You might want that speaking gig at £100, £1,000, but you have to determine that, what you're doing. But your referral partners need to know what that is. Does it actually fit in with what you're doing now? And that might have changed. You might have started off in a certain way and you've now changed that. So does your referral partners know that? Or are they bringing you the wrong type of referrals? That's the whole idea of it being clear. I have 2 minutes. So I want you to think, just if we think of the target market that people are going after, I want you to be very, very quick on this and write this down. If you think of an industry or a profession, we've talked a lot about that this morning already. Talked about maybe bookers, you're talking about events people. So I want you to think of one industry or profession this morning and write it down. Which industry or profession would you want? If I could wave a magic wand this morning and get you into a certain industry or profession, what would it be? I want you to write that down. If we think of that further and we go a little bit deeper into that, what would the company name be? Alan, I see you writing. What industry are you looking to get into?
Great news.
Anybody want to tell me what industry they're looking to get into?
Well, for me, it's FMCG manufacturing.
Okay. Does anybody know what that means?
Yep.
Okay, I'm glad somebody does. Okay, stand up, Al. Is there one? No, you're not going to write. Is there one company that you'd really like into?
One company that I like into. Off the top of my head, I can't say one particular company. There's a few.
Okay, but you think of all, who all knew his original industry?
FMCG.
Fast moving consumer goods.
Okay, excellent. So there's a number of people in here who might know your target market. That's what I'm saying.
Quite possibly.
Okay, thank you, Al. But if you knew the company, you might actually somebody say, I know that company. So then you move to the next bit. What department do you want into in that company?
L&D.
Learning and development.
I'm glad you're here, Brian. What title of the person in learning and development?
Pardon?
What title would they have?
They would probably have learning development title. That would be their title.
Well, would there be a certain level within that?
Manager.
Yeah, probably be a manager.
Okay. So just think of that. So we're really bringing it through. So the very fact is, if you're really doing your prospecting, you might have the name. Would that be a fair comment? So if you take it through the funnel, because sometimes, and I've seen this happen, somebody says, well, I've got a name, and I know roughly the industry, and somebody says, I know that person. I didn't know they actually worked for that company. So the power in this room is really there. If you're really interested to find out where you are in referral marketing, here's another QR code. Please take a picture of it this morning. And there we are. You can follow that up later. It's an opportunity for you to find out where you are, do a bit of research, and out of it, you'll maybe find out what you can do or some ideas from yourself. Hopefully you've enjoyed some, hopefully you've taken some away and be able to create something in your own business. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. We will now take a break. We will resume at 10:45, so in 30 minutes, I think there should be coffee outside, so go and have yourself, have a chat, make some connections.